There exists a code that is more than 800 years old, a code capable of removing any weak habit from your life in just a few weeks. But there's a condition. You must be willing to let your old self die, not physically, but symbolically, in order to be reborn as someone stronger. What you're about to learn has completely reshaped the way I understand discipline, self-control, and personal growth. Imagine a system so powerful that it didn't just train warriors, it transformed ordinary individuals into legends. A philosophy that created people who could resist any temptation, overcome any weakness, and master even their darkest impulses. This is Bushidō, the way of the warrior. And before you dismiss this as outdated philosophy with no relevance today, consider this. Researchers from Kyoto University discovered that samurai had a moral failure rate 300% lower than the average population of their time. They were more disciplined, more reliable, and far more committed to their word. But here's the part. Most people never hear. They weren't born like that. They became like that by following a system. And today, you're going to learn exactly how to apply that system to your modern life. Because by the end of this video, you'll understand something crucial. Your bad habits are not the real problem. They are symptoms of something deeper. And Bushidō addresses the root. But before we continue, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Now, let's continue. Let me tell you a story that will permanently change how you view discipline. 12th century Japan. A young samurai named Taira struggled with a destructive habit. Every night he drank sake until he collapsed. Eventually, his superiors discovered this, and he was summoned before his master. The master didn't shout. He didn't punish him. He didn't humiliate him. Instead, he calmly said, "Taira, you are not only dishonoring your name, you are betraying your true nature. Tomorrow, you will perform seppuku on your former self." Seppuku is a traditional samurai ritual. Its full meaning goes far beyond what can be explained here. But in this context, it wasn't about physical death. It was about symbolic death. The death of the weak identity. The death of the habits that prevent a person from becoming who they truly could be. Taira spent 3 days in deep reflection. He meditated on one question: who he really was versus who he had become. When he returned, everything changed. He didn't just stop drinking. He became one of the most disciplined samurai of his era. So what was the secret? He realized something most people never understand. Your bad habits are not character flaws. They are symptoms of a fractured identity. You act weak because, deep down, you still see yourself as weak. And this is exactly where Bushidō works, like surgery on the soul. It's not a set of rules. It's a system for rebuilding your identity from the ground up. And it operates through 5 principles that fundamentally change how you think and act. The first principle is gi, righteousness. A samurai practicing gi never lies to himself. If he is lazy, he admits it. If he acts out of fear, he acknowledges it. Because you cannot defeat what you refuse to see. Gi means eliminating self-deception. It means facing your habits honestly, without excuses, without minimizing, without pretending they're not a problem. The second principle is Jin, compassion. And this is where everything changes. Jin isn't just about kindness toward others. It's about how you treat yourself during transformation. Why do most people fail when trying to break bad habits? Because they attack themselves. They judge themselves. They create an internal battle. A samurai understands that real discipline doesn't come from self-hate. It comes from self-respect. You don't improve because you despise yourself. You improve because you value yourself enough to want more. The third principle is Rei, respect. Rei means treating yourself with the same level of respect you would show to someone you deeply admire. Ask yourself honestly, would you allow someone you respect to live with your current habits? Of course not. So, why do you allow it for yourself? The fourth principle is Makoto, absolute honesty. This is where it becomes uncomfortable. Makoto means looking directly at yourself, without filters, without denial. A psychologist once said something powerful. People don't change because they avoid the pain of seeing themselves clearly. And this is where samurai were different. They developed the courage to face that pain. They looked at their habits and asked, what is this really costing me? Not just today, but in 5 years, in 10 years. Makoto requires you to sit down and write 2 lists. On one side, your destructive habits. On the other, the true cost of each one. And this cost isn't just about obvious consequences. It's about your self-respect, your confidence, the quiet disappointment you feel when you know you're living below your potential. The fifth principle is Meiyo, honor. This is the principle that changes everything. Meiyo means living in alignment with your values in every action. Imagine waking up each day and asking yourself, if I were the main character in a story about someone who overcame all their weaknesses, what would I do today? Because here's the truth, you already are that person. The only difference is you haven't chosen to live like it yet. A neuroscientist from Stanford spent years studying people who successfully eliminated destructive habits permanently. And his conclusion was clear. They didn't just change what they did. They changed who they believed they were. The brain acts according to identity. If you see yourself as disciplined, your actions will support that. If you see yourself as weak, your behavior will reflect that instead. And this is the true power of Bushidō. It doesn't focus on changing behavior first. It changes identity, and behavior follows naturally. A Harvard researcher described Bushidō as a system for identity reconstruction, transforming ordinary individuals into people who naturally act with discipline, courage, and integrity. And here's something very few people know. Samurai practiced a daily exercise that could eliminate any bad habit in under 30 days. And no, it's not what you think. They called it the death of the ego. Because here's the reality. You don't have bad habits. You have an identity that produces them. And until that identity dies, you'll keep fighting the same patterns. This practice combined meditation with a powerful mental exercise. The first step was Zazen, seated meditation, observing thoughts without engaging. The second step was symbolic death. They imagined themselves as already dead. They mentally buried the version of themselves from the day before, along with all their fears, habits, and weaknesses. Then they returned as a new person, free from those patterns. The third step was reflection. They asked themselves 3 questions. If I died today, would I be proud of how I lived? What habits would I regret carrying to the grave? If I started fresh right now, how would I act differently? Why did this work? Because it created a psychological reset every single day. Because it detached them from their past identity. Because it clarified what truly mattered. And because it removed everything that didn't align with their higher purpose. Today, you can apply the same practice. Spend 10 to 15 minutes each morning. Let go of yesterday's version of yourself. Choose who you will be today. And now, let me ask you something that could change everything. If there were a system that didn't just remove your bad habits, but transformed you into someone who naturally doesn't have them, would you use it? Because that's exactly what Bushidō offers. It's not about willpower. It's not about punishment. It's about becoming someone for whom those habits no longer make sense. Every day, you make a choice. Stay trapped in patterns that weaken you, or step onto the path of the warrior. Bushidō teaches that there is no neutrality. Every moment, you are either becoming stronger or weaker, more disciplined or more scattered. The question is not whether you can change. The real question is, do you have the courage to let your old self die, so your true self can emerge? Because in the end, your habits are not your destiny. They are simply evidence of an identity you haven't yet released. The path is in front of you. The decision is yours. Will you remain a spectator in your own life, or will you become the warrior of your transformation? The samurai within you is already waiting. The only question is, how much longer will you keep him waiting?